like connecting to the database. So, like in our example, so yeah, if the customer is trying to update his address and then it posts an event to the account, and then account is trying to update its address and again it posts an event to the customer that is not able to do it, and then they keep on posting.
No, you need to have how you are interested in which events you want to ignore and process, right? Because see, in the first place, there will be additional checks and balances, right? Who raises the event? What is the source of the event? If you know you are the source of the event, you have already processed it, right? You need to probably ignore that. So you need to maintain the events that you have processed and then possibly take a call. I mean, there are different solutions, right? There's no one, what do you call? There's not just one way of doing something. There are multiple ways of solving the problem. This is one of the ways that I explained you, right? So basically the intent is if you raise an event and you want to update a database, there is a problem that either of this might fail. Either you raise the event and then the DB write fails, or the DB write fails but DB write succeeds but you fail to raise the event. The retry mechanism and other things that you implement are going to be very tedious to maintain and implement. Right? Implement and maintain is going to be very painful. Instead of doing that, you raise an event and you are the listener of your own event. Basically, you raise the event, and when you receive that event and you process it, right, you will be maintaining that the event has been processed. So when you pick an event for processing, you will ensure that it's already what do you call? You will check whether it's already processed. If so, you will ignore it. Otherwise, you will keep proceeding. Even if the system goes down and comes up again, right? So you need to have that necessary metadata to let you take the decision. Does that clarify the question?
Yeah, like last updated and things like that.
Those are the technicalities of how you do it, right? So you can go by event ID. You can even maintain a hash for the entire event payload. Quickly check the hash if it's there in your process records, something like that. Anything works.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Pardon me, I have one question. Like in a complicated enterprise system, like how do you make sure these events are not cyclical? Like DAG is there, right? A customer updating account is checking HRMS checking again if that account is valid. So how in a like very complex enterprise, you make sure it is a DAG and not a cyclical?
I don't have really a good answer on that, Ashutosh, to be honest. I mean, from my experience, when we worked on event-driven architecture, uh, it was challenging to know, like you wouldn't know at a time how system is behaving. I may not be I actually answering your question, but I'll be just sharing some of our experiences and things which we noticed. Like events are getting generated, right, and system is always in a flux, in a sense that you don't know what's the state of our entire system at this point of time. So what we had done is we had generated something called as I forget the name, but there's a name for it, right? Like you generate an ID at a start. Say when a call came to a controller, that's your entry point. So that call generates some ID, and that ID is then for the entire cycle of what happened. Like this event got generated, this event was consumed now in a chain by this another aggregate, and that aggregate generated another domain event. You can then trace the entire chain to see what's going on, right? You can now query your system to say, give me information about this originating ID. Let me call this as the originating ID. There's a better name for that actually. And for that originating ID, then I'm looking at how my system is behaving. And at some time, I may notice that, oh, by the way, this domain event is basically people are consuming it, it's getting retried multiple times, and it has now gone to, let's say, some letter queue or some topic where someone is going to physically monitor it as a person sitting as an administrator, or this has failed and I need to do a manual action. So there's a different flow there now. Someone as a person going there and trying to correct the thing because system has failed after retries. So whatever the cyclic nature you're talking about, yeah, you'll have to look at it and make sure that things are not getting processed out of order. Events are not getting processed out of order. So you'll have to check that I'm processing an event. Have I actually, I have a, as a consumer, I have to check that, okay, I got this event, but do I have a precondition for this? So have I received the event which is needed before I process this event? That's the consumer logic now. So you'll have to do all those checks, and that's where my point of domain-driven system, event-driven architectures are hard to maintain, hard to code and do so. So yeah, I mean, you'll have to do that. You'll have to take care of that. We can talk offline if you're like a concrete example, Ashutosh, and we can take that example and then draw a diagram and try to talk more about it. But yeah, it's not an easy thing. At least in the project I worked, a lot of things we had to develop to track how overall system is behaving, where is event right now, who all has consumed it, and so on and so forth. Cool. Any other questions, folks? Okay, so I need to hand it over to Satish quickly, but before that, we are going to solve one code problem, and then I'll hand it over to Satish. So 1 second. Let's see quickly what's there in slides with respect to aggregates, and then we'll go to the next question. And we're not going to discuss this again, time constraint, but now you can ask yourself that order aggregate was created inside a cart aggregate. There was a domain service. So what solution based upon what we discussed about transaction boundaries might be better solution is something you can look at. Yeah, this we talked about, right? You don't have to start with REST controllers. They are adapters in hexagonal architecture. So once you have aggregate and domain services, you can expose them as a REST controllers. So this we talked yesterday. We talked about this. I'm not going to talk about microservice calling another microservice because there's not much time. But there's a code in customer only microservice which calls account microservice. So if you're not doing domain event, that's fine. You can still call a microservice calling another microservice. And this is where I think someone was asking, right? Sagas are of two types. One of them is orchestrated sagas, and one of them is choreography. A choreography is where everyone knows what step they need to do on a song if they are dancing. There's no one instructing them what to do. They know how to synchronize, and that's a choreography. So customer microservice generates a domain event. It doesn't know who is consuming that, and account microservice consumes it, and it raises another events, and then it doesn't know who is consuming it. So it's all choreography. Second example, a choreography saga. The third one is kind of an orchestrator because customer microservice updates its address, and now it calls the account microservice. If one of a call fails, then it needs to roll back. So there is some orchestration going on. So customer microservice is kind of orchestrator in this case. This is given in a book. So read a book. I'll be sharing a link. You can go through that. This is something which was written in 2003. One in italics. You can read it like when Sri Hari was saying, right? Why? But the book book was really ahead of its own time. Like in 2003, someone wrote this mechanism. I mean, whenever something is across aggregates, you cannot expect it to be up to date all the time. Like event processing, think of it as like a domain event being sent, and it will get updated.
ये वाली दवाई खा ली का सोल ये B12 है जो नॉन वेज में रहता है
सर वो भी दे देते हैं
So
यार मुझे डॉक्टर ने दी है डेफिशिएंसी की वो वही मिलती है डॉक्टर
Yeah, I think
दिमाग के लिए डिप्रेशन
we covered most of the slides on the
खरीद लेती हूँ
So let's go to this example.
ये अभी
and
चलेंगे
code
ना वहाँ पे
example
तो
and
वो
then
तर्क
we'll
ले
move on to
आओगे
the next
सब
topic.
तरह से मेरे
And again, please feel free to contact us on LinkedIn. Happy to get into more discussions. So this is a last code example, and then after we see a showcase, I'll hand it over to Satish. So let's go into breakout room with this. And this one is an interesting one. So you can write a pseudocode. Don't worry about writing actual code, but try to get end-to-end flow, right? Now we ignore the bank example. We are going back to code problem 9 where we created an order, right? Code problem 9 is where we created an order. Now we have an order. We just need to calculate a total cost per order. And logic is simple, like product has weight in grams. Just put it in the integer. Don't think of too much about what abstraction weight in grams should be. Put it as an integer or float, and then multiply that by 0.1, and that's your total cost, right? You already have a price of a product plus the weight in grams into 0.1. Try to put all methods there, what flow would look like, and then write actual code. So write a pseudocode first so that you get end-to-end flow going. We will take only one break today, that at 11:30, and that way we can try to finish at 1 o'clock. Let's see, if not 1:30. So I'm putting like 10 minutes on this because we want you to think about this. And opening the breakout rooms. Now yesterday's assignment may have got disturbed, so hold on to here. If you go to breakout room and if you are not in yesterday's breakout room, come back. We will try to reassign. Cool. Yeah, you should be able to see the link.
Sorry, I am not able to see that link to join the breakout.
Because you're in S, right? Or you?
N, I think.
N, okay.
Me also, Sandeep.
Pratik, you in which room?
S.
S. Done. Ankit, which room? Shubham, which room?
U. Yeah, I am even I was in U.
Okay, done. Ankit, you said U, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Who else is here now? Ashutosh, you are staying in main room, right? Ankit, you are able to see your room? Okay, I did not assign you. Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Okay. Ashutosh, which room you want to go in? Are you in a meeting? I can't hear you. If you are speaking, you are mute. Okay. Yeah, so Satish, looks like I think we're a bit delayed, so you'll have to see some of the topic you may have to move a bit faster.
Sure, we can.
Yeah, we can go up to 1:30. We'll just take one break at 11:30 to 12, 11:30 to 11:40, and then from 11:40 we have up to 1:30.
Okay, maybe I think we could try to cover like maybe like 2 topics. Okay, what do we have about the context, and then maybe English language, then take a break, right? And you don't have to do hard
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, you don't have to do like a hard 11:30. If you once you're at a logical point, you can call out for book.
Okay, yeah.
आशुतोष हम लोग तो सब 4 लोग ही हो
So I think your slides open, right? And
Yeah, I have the slides open, so I have the slides open, and I mean, so there is also this slide 67 recapitulate. Do we need that? Like,
67.
yeah, what did we learn?
Yeah, we quickly talk because it has a title, right? What are strategic patterns and tactical patterns. So
Okay.
we can quickly talk about it. I can talk about it if you want me to.
Sure.
Telegram repository is something I add a couple of lines there, so I can talk about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to differentiate what these are the strategic and these are tactical. That's why we have this slide.
Okay. Maybe what I'll do is like, I'll just quickly talk about strategic and then I'll leave the tactical to you.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have 6 more minutes to go.
दीपक में ट्रैक 27
आप नवीन 2 दिन सॉफ्टवेयर गए अच्छी खासी 2 दिन 2-3% गिर गए
ऊपर से कॉल राइट कर देती
कैलेंड कर देती रिकवरी आती है ना आखिर दिन में जो वो आता है आसान है
ऊपर से
आकर भाई टेस्टी मैंने पार्टी का बोले तो काम कर दूंगी तुम्हारे और भी डिलीशियस देख बाबा देख है ना गाय ऐसे से खा रही थी और ऐसे से हिला रही थी जा रहे हैं भैया नहाने डस्टिंग पूरी कर रहे हैं
मैं झाड़ू लगा दूं
क्यों दीदी आ रही है ना 2 बजे फिर तो करना ही है अपने को मैं तो कह रही हूँ अपन दोनों कर लिया करेंगे सैटरडे
29 तारीख को बोलते हैं कि दीदी हम लोग जो है कहाँ घर जा रहे हैं इस साल की शादी हो रही है 4-5 महीने के लिए बोलना आपके तो मिल ही जाएगी दूसरा यहाँ पे आई है
उसको सिर्फ है ना बर्तन से हटाती हूँ भारी से चली जाती हूँ है ना वो लेकिन दीदी मशीन ले लिया आप सिर्फ झाड़ू पोछा का बताओ कितना लोगे
वो फिर 29 तारीख को बोलना था मशीन आके दीदी एक्चुअली क्या रात में बर्तन हो जाते
बहुत
थे
सारे बर्तन उगाते हैं और फिर इनमें से ऐसे हटा दूंगी एकदम से वो नहीं जैसे कंपनी से भी लोग हटाते हैं ना और कुछ एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं कि हम इधर आ रहे हैं भाई नहीं आ रहा समझ में टाइमिंग का रहता है दीदी आप सैटरडे संडे क्या कहीं जा नहीं पाते हैं आप फ्लेक्सिबल नहीं हैं
में डाइट से कैंसर फैलता है, हीना वीना लगा लिया कर आलू।
बूंदी
हाँ इससे मत
देखते हैं।
कर, या फिर डॉक्टर से लिखवा ले कुछ बाल के
I'm
तेल में।
closing the breakout rooms.
ये मेरी मशीन है।
होता है वहाँ पे होते कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्कर है ना, उनको 100 रुपये देके यहाँ पे सीमेंट भरवा देते हैं। होता है यहाँ घर में थोड़ा जा थोड़ा सा गिट्टी और रेत डाल दो और उसके ऊपर आप वाइट सीमेंट बाहर से सीमेंट से पक्का कर दो, जब तक आएगी सीमेंट भी सूख जाएगा।
हाँ यार तो करवा सकते हो,
ये सब तो मजबूत है।
क्योंकि उतना 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 में ना जैसे फ्री करवाता रहेगा गधा, वो तो खड़ जाता है ऐसे ऐसे करके।
Okay, so someone wants to talk about what they're thinking.
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah, please go ahead, Rajan. You're pairing with?
Yesterday I was pairing with Sai, but today I don't.
Okay, no worries.
I got her now.
Yeah.
So I actually just included another parameter, weight, into this product class.
Yeah.
And after that, like I'm adding a method in the order, like calculating the total price of it
Yeah, yeah.
based on its product. So these are the two things I just added.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so price, if you go to product has 18 grams, right? That's what an order is using. Sure, yeah, this looks good. Any other solution other than this? Anyone has any other solution?
So it's pretty much similar, but only thing is that cart cost I'm calculating separately in the cart, and the shipping cost I'm calculating in the order class. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. You have a product class with weight in grams, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here is a question. In this limited domain, does cart care about weight of the product? Like, yeah. So only order cares about the weight of a product, right? So maybe there are two things here and not just one thing, right? We generically added the weight in grams to a product, and then we use the product class across cart and order, and cart never cared, at least in this limited domain. Real life is different, but in the limited domain, we never wanted cart never cared about having the weight of a product. Wasn't its concern, and that's our next topic. It kind of touches bounded context, right? And I'll hand it over to Satish to cover those things.
Okay, I'll just quickly share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Okay, thank you. So bounded context, right? Like so what do you mean by bounded context? So what it does is like it gives you an opportunity to break a larger system, right, into smaller chunks and focus on specific areas. Even if you take this journey of e-commerce, right, there are a lot of things happening. Like what do, you open a page, search for a product, you get a list of products from a catalog, and you find a product, you will read the details about it, add to a cart, place an order. There are so many contexts that goes through, and the product travels through this context. Just like the previous example that we saw, where the cart doesn't care about the weight, right?